Practice it, exercise 16.12 split. Let's write a method split, and it's going to rearrange the elements of a list so all negative numbers appear in front of all even numbers. You can look at the example that we have right here. I'm going to do it to where this is our original list and it's going to look like this afterwards. So you can read through all of the examples and you can also read through the conditions that we have. Once you're done with that, we can start coding it. It's going to be a public void because we're not returning anything, just modifying. We have our class called, or I'm sorry, our method called split inside of our class LinkedList. Now, from here, what we're going to need to do is have a while loop, and it's going to run through our entire list while we check if it is even or odd. First, let's make a new list node and call it current and set it equal to our front. We can modify this. After this is going to come our while loop that I was talking about, and we want to run this while our current does not equal to null, because there's no reason to run it if it is. But notice this and there's another condition. So imagine if we only have two things inside of here, right? And we swap these two. Like let's say this one's, or we only have these two. These two are the only things we have. We swap it, right? -4 and then 7, and then we move to the next value, 7. Well, 7 is not null. We also have to check if the next value is null, otherwise there's no reason to continue, right? So and current dot next does not equal to null. Those are our two conditions. Once we have that figured out, we can be inside of here. Now we have to code for our evens and our odds. So let's start this out. Look to the right. I'm forking this from our example that we had in the earlier part, just omitting the 8 so we can get to the negative faster. So it's going to look like this. Ignore the red line for now. Our current is pointing to our front right here, and then we have all these values that are linked together. So what I'm going to do is we could check the front one, but there's no need. And the reason that there's no need is because this front value, if it is negative, it's already all the way to the left. And if it's positive, we're going to need to switch out the second value anyways, because we can assume that there's more values in this while loop, right? So what we're going to want to do is actually look at this next one. So if our current dot next does not, or I'm sorry, it does not equal, I'm still thinking about the header for our while loop. If it is less than or equal to 0, we're going to be inside of here. And actually, let's make that a less than 0. I didn't read through this properly. If it's 0, that counts it as an even number for this example. So 0 is even, it's just going to be if it's less than 0. Now, inside of this if statement is where we're going to write our code. Let's close this off for now and have an else statement. If it is even, what are we going to do? Well, if it's even, that means that this -4, let's just pretend it's a regular 4, is just a 4. And we want to look at the next value. So what we can do is take the current pointer right here, and we're going to reassign it to be right here. So else, we're going to set current equal to current dot next. And that's going to give us the next position. Let's go back into our if statement because that's it for the else part. Inside of here, this is the thought process we're going to do. We're going to take -4, we're going to remove it from our list. With the red line, we're going to relink these nodes so it's as if it was never here. And then we're just going to put -4 in front and then append the list after that. That's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. So to take -4 out, we're going to make a temporary node to store it. List node temp is going to be equal to, and this is going to be current dot next, because remember currently the current is set to 7 and we want to append these 7 and 19 together. We're going to set our current dot next because that's the pointer that's coming out of this 7. We want to set that equal to 19. So that's going to be current dot next dot next. Or we can set temp dot next. Either one works. After we do this, we are going to want to put the -4 in front because currently the -4 is just floating out in space right now. That's a horrible -4, but we're just going to pretend that's a good -4. And then we have 7 and 19 and so on linked together. So we want to append these to the back and then push this back to the front because temp is going to get overwritten and it's just temporary anyways. So we're going to set our temp dot next. So the pointer here is going to point to everything else in our list. So temp dot next is going to be equal to our front, because front is currently pointing to 7. So that's how you would do that. And then we would just want to reassign front equal to temp. And that will put the -4 in as well as everything else. Now looking through this, I actually made a mistake. See if you can spot it while I close this while loop up and this method up. And the mistake I made is in this if statement. I said if current.next is less than 0. Well, current.next is just a pointer. We actually need to get the data at current.next. That'll give us this -4 to compare with this 0. With that all done, we're going to submit this. It should pass 7 out of 7 tests. If it does, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. If you want more practice hits, leave a like, and underneath that like button, there's a playlist with every practice hit in there. So that's 16.12 split. I hope that helped, and I hope you have a great day.